in GA4 it is no more. Bounce rate is dead, and there is a reason for that. Bounce rate needed to be replaced. So what did GA4 do? GA4 came up with something called engagement, and that is what the whole tool is about right now. One of the most talked about and least understood metric in universal analytics was bounce rate. But in GA4 it is no more. Bounce rate is dead, and there is a reason for that. GA4 comes up with a new data model. In that new data model, you are able to get data from your mobile app as well as your web app. When you were trying to do that, you needed a way to standardize the data, because the data that was coming from mobile apps and that was coming from your website, they needed to be similar. And bounce rate didn't make any sense for mobile apps, because mobile apps have mobile screens, they don't have the concept of web pages. And to understand the user behavior, bounce rate needed to be replaced. So what did GA4 do? GA4 came up with something called engagement, and that is what the whole tool is about right now. Hi everyone, I'm Siddharth, and in this video I'm going to talk about what engagement means in Google Analytics 4. So first things first, how is engagement defined in Google Analytics 4? When either of these three things happen, it is counted as one engagement in Google Analytics 4. Number one, if a user comes to your website and he sees at least 2 pages, or when he's on app, he views at least 2 screens, it is counted as an engaged session. Secondly, if a user comes on a website and at least make one conversion event fire, that is counted as one engagement. And third one is really interesting. So if a user comes on your app or your website and he spends at least 10 seconds, this is counted as an engaged session. Now this can be increased. You can actually go into the settings and you can increase this time limit to up to 60 seconds. So this gives rise to all new set of metrics. And in this video, I'm going to discuss the 3 most important, at least, which is extremely important when you're trying to run your business, when you're trying to assess your website and user behavior. So the number one is engagement rate. The way engagement rate is calculated is by dividing the total number of engaged sessions with total number of sessions. This is interesting because earlier you were too focused on reducing the bounce rate, which kind of meant that you really wanted to ensure that a person stays on your website, that's it. But with engagement rate, what you really want to do is you want to focus on making that user stay on your website and at the same time make that user take some action. The second important metric is engaged sessions per user. Now this is interesting because now you are not really focused on how many people are coming on your website, you're kind of focused on how many of those people are actually engaging with you. So the whole narrative is shifting from the sessions or the users to the engaged users. Now this can give you amazing insight if you go into the acquisition dashboard and you kind of look at what kind of traffic sources has what kind of engaged sessions per user. If you look at this particular image, you note that the paid social, it is giving a total engaged sessions per user of 0.43, which is not really good. And if you compare it with the average in your website, you know that you need to take some action in that direction. The third one is average engagement time. Now this is not a straightforward one. This is somewhat tricky, so just bear with me. The way GA4 defines engagement time is the time during which your website was really in the user's browser and the user was really focused on that. Similarly, in the context of mobile app, if the user is really looking at your app in the foreground, not in the background, that's counted as engagement time. The way it is calculated is you take the total engagement time of all the users combined on the website and you divide it by total number of active users. So yeah friends, that was all about engagement in Google Analytics 4. If you have questions or queries regarding this particular segment, you can type them in the comments and I would love to answer your queries. And if you want to know more, because I'm doing a lot of content around Google Analytics, you can follow me on LinkedIn.